I know a lot of people were nervous for this role, this adaptation, but me personally, I saw it and I didn't have a doubt, not even for a second, because I somehow knew that Patterson would fit the role perfectly, and in my opinion, that's exactly what he did. It was a beautiful, beautiful film, shot excellently by Greg Fraser and directed perfectly by Matt Reeves. This is what I was expecting, and I didn't count him out because of the team they had, especially with Greg Fraser in Dune. Greg Fraser shot this film perfectly, in my opinion, to the point where it didn't feel like Chicago, it didn't feel like Detroit, it didn't feel like Pennsylvania. It felt like Gotham, and it looked like Gotham as well. It captured the cesspool of a city in the perfect way. I couldn't have imagined doing anything differently in the making of this film. And obviously it's inspired by Seven with this incredibly overused amount of rain, but I feel like that works for Gotham because it's always miserable, it's always gloomy. And this film feels incredibly authentic because the suit was handmade, it was crafted, and they used all practical effects, especially for the car chase scene, which was incredible, by the way. It's one of the best pieces of cinema I've ever seen in my life. I was truly on the edge of my seat for that scene. And it's perfect. It's perfect. Nothing about it's bad. And the Batman feels a lot different to many of the other films I've seen in my life. For example, I saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness not too long ago, and it just couldn't compare in any way, shape or form to the Batman, because it was all CG and the story was scrappy. It just felt like a script thrown together just to make a few millions. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like it was made with love. It just felt like it was made in the editing studio. But that's not the case with the Batman, because the Batman has a story. He has a purpose in the story. Because at the start of the story, he's just driven by vengeance and pure anger and torment. But at the end of it, you see he realizes what he's been doing and what effect he's had on the city and how it wasn't what he planned. And I think that's a really powerful thing to have in a film. The parallels in this film are incredible. And if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen the film by now, then it's your fault, because I'm going to spoil it right here. The Riddler and the Batman are scarily similar in the point that they're both orphans. They both wanted to make a difference, but they both did it in the wrong way at the start. But the Batman finds this out. He realizes his problem, his issue, and what he's been doing, and how it's been wrong. But the Riddler doesn't. We are shown that the Batman also knows that they're similar when he's realizing the Riddler's motives, and when all of the Riddler's followers keep telling them their vengeance. And the Batman's name at this current time in the film is Vengeance. That's what he is. Even the Joker in the deleted scene tells Batman that he even thinks that him and the Riddler are similar, because they both have the same motives. The Joker tells Batman that deep down the Batman's scared that him and the Riddler might be doing this for the same reason, and that scares the Batman because he thinks it's true. And deep down he does know it's true. But again, I have to go back to the Joker, and if this scene was in the film, I feel like it would have broken everybody, because we're like, it's the moment we've been waiting for. Now, going back to the Joker again, I think Barry Keoghan, I'm not sure if I said that right, but as the Joker, I think it worked well. I really do. And even in the small amount of footage we received in the deleted scene, I still think it works well. And this version of the Joker is quite different to all the rest, in a way. Because supposedly, this version of the Joker, he did not get his scars from falling into Ace Chemicals, falling into the vat of acid. He didn't. Apparently he was born with them. and he is heavily inspired by the Elephant Man from what I've seen and read. So it's taken quite a different take on the Joker, and I think Matt Reeves, it makes sense because he wanted a different version of Batman as well, and that worked because this Batman is a year 2 Batman. He's an inexperienced, young, angry, tormented Batman, such as the one we saw in Batman Arkham Origins, and that's my favourite game. So I feel like this really works. But if we could just pause for maybe a second, well, not a second, obviously, because it's already been a second, I'm an idiot, I know, don't talk about it. But if we could pause for just a minute, I'd like to clear the air and explain why I've been MIA for a while. But yeah, on a serious note, I'd like to explain myself. Sometimes life gets in the way, and you lose motivation to do certain things. And I know that's a pretty crappy excuse, but I'm afraid it's true. Because alongside my A level and sixth form work that I have to do, and the stress that comes along with that, I just haven't had the motivation to do anything. So, but again, I will try to be more active because I have a few ideas that I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. But carry on with the video now. In conclusion, I think this was a successful attempt at a Batman reboot, and Matt Reeves is the man that to do it. He's the man to do it. They could not hire anyone else. Not Sam Raimi, not Christopher Nolan, and definitely not M. Night Shyamalan. My point is, Matt Reeves is the man to do this. He brought this to life. I'm so glad he did. And I also think this was an ineffable, unfathomable performance by Robert Pattinson. Even Colin Farrell, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright, all of these actors were perfect. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.